The views and opinions expressed on this program are not those of Norfolk State University or WNSB-FM. Thank you for listening.
It's Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
College Success Prep 101. So with just a few weeks left before school starts for many colleges and universities, how are you getting ready for academic success? What are you doing to make sure this semester is just what you want it to be? Hi, everybody. I'm Benita Adams, and this is Hampton Roads Voices. Today, we're talking to students and academic experts who are going to give you some tips and tools to be successful in college. We're going to hear from some students here at NSU and also from a counselor from the Norfolk State Counseling Center. We want to make sure you call in with your questions at 757-823-9110. College Success Prep 101 on Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
It's Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Benita Adams, and this is Hampton Roads Voices, where we speak life into our communities. Now, we're talking about College Prep 101, and let me go ahead and throw out the number right now for you because we want to hear from you. The number is 757-823-9110. How are you preparing for college, especially if it's your first semester? If you have a child or children going to college, what are your experiences? How have you been stepping back and letting your child take the reins and teach them how to maneuver through the college system? Again, 757-823-9110. We're talking about College Prep 101. We have our in-studio guest today. We have Miss Arkita Crawley. She's from the Norfolk State Counseling Center, a staff counselor. Ms. Crawley, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And we have one of our own students here, Norfolk State University, Janae Williams. Ms. Williams, thank you for being here as well.
It's good to be here.
Now, we want to get our students ready. Last week, we talked about some nuts and bolts. We talked about financial aid, about how to go through the admissions process. We talked about the Student Success Center. Today, we want to talk about some practical, I call them ABCs 1, 2, 3, really that college prep, to hear about those experiences. And so, Janae, I'm going to start with you. What's your college story? How did you end up here at NSU?
Okay, so I'm from Los Angeles, California. And so initially how I came here was on a HBCU tour by Nicole Ford, Heading in the Right Direction. And so I went to a community college called Antelope Valley College. And AV, for those that have never heard of it, it's in the middle of the Mojave Desert. But they were doing a 7-day tour. And so me and about 30 other people from different cities in Los Angeles decided to do it. And so we went all the way from Morehouse to Howard University. And so NSU was actually the last stop. And we absolutely loved it. I love this school. So I came only one time for about 2 hours. They gave us some fiery meatballs and sandwiches. We was like, oh, y'all feed us too. We coming out. So from then, I just continued to do my research on Virginia and looked into more of the school. And I came back, and it's been permanent since.
Are you a first-generation college student in your family?
No, my mom is a college graduate.
Okay, all right. And Ms. Crawley, in terms of the counseling center, when the new student comes in and they may, I'm not going to make an assumption, but maybe they're unsure about some things, how do you direct them, especially if this is their first experience with college?
Well, we always try to make students feel like they already have strengths. I think oftentimes they come in and feel like, I just don't know what I'm doing. But we are all born innately with the strength we need to be able to persevere. So that's our first thing to do, to make them feel comfortable, let them know that they're safe, they're in an environment where people want to help them, and that they're not going to be judged, and help them to just really process the different options that they have so that they can be successful.
I think that part is important. Janae, you jump on in here as well, because I think sometimes when a person gets here for the first time, no matter what school it is, you get there for the first time, maybe you were used to mama doing this and mama calling the school and mama doing that, and all of a sudden you think, wait a minute, I have to do this myself? Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. Have you found that to be the case sometimes? Maybe not with you, but maybe some people you've interacted with?
Oh, most definitely. Well, when I came over here, I was 25. No, I was 26. So for me, it was a little bit different because I'm already very independent. I was independent at home. But me and my family are super close, so I tell them everything. So once I got here and things started getting a little like real, I'm like, whoa, like I'm not driving home to my parents, or, you know, they're not around the corner. So I had to really, you know, get my mindset on how I can, you know, be independent, but, you know, network with people around me that are also going through the same thing or already know what's going on, so that, you know, I'm able to live life on life's terms and be successful. So I actually have utilized, you know, the counseling center, and it has, you know, blessed me tremendously. Like I've, you know, had some hardships during the college experience, but it has done its job. So.
And as I was preparing for the show, it's so interesting that you say that. It's because sometimes for the new student, they don't have their support system at first, at least, right. And they leave that at home. And when they could go to a friend's house or their mom's house or something like that to get a meal or to cry on their shoulder or something like that, that person's not there anymore. Mm-hmm. And you think, oh my gosh. And so that's a part of this whole puzzle that we're talking about. Now, as a student, if you're preparing to come to school, our number again is 757-823-9110. Are you the first person to go to college in your family? How does that make you feel? Do you feel any pressure with that, or you're just excited to get that started? How are you preparing for your first semester and even taking the reins away from whoever had them at first and taking that responsibility? Again, we want to hear from you. 757-823-9110. So for the first-time college student, Ms. Crawley, what should they do in terms of, again, we talked about admissions, we talked about financial aid and so forth, but when they get there, some practical things that they should do first?
Well, I always think that find out where your resources are, and those places can direct you to other places. So the top four that I always talk about, of course, is the counseling center, mm-hmm. Student success, Spartan Health, and also student support services. Those four places are the places we always talk about, because when you have a place to go, even if you don't know what's going on, you can get some direction. When preparing for school, I always want students to think about who was your support at home, and if they were a good support for you then, continue utilizing them by phone or however you want to talk with them, because it's important not to just feel like, oh, I'm just out here by myself. I hear so many students feel as though, you know, well, I'm 18, I'm grown now. Well, just 3 months ago, you were in high school. So, you know, 3 months didn't give you all the education and understanding, because now you are in college. So not letting go of the supports and really holding on to them, because you're going to need them. This is a big transition. Mom and dad aren't getting you up for school. No one's telling you to go to class. No one's telling you when to eat. No one's telling you when to do the homework. So it's important to hold on to those structures that really were supportive of you. Absolutely. So that you can continue that when you get to college.
And with technology, what it is, you can still stay in contact.
Absolutely.
Even if you're in Virginia and your family's in California, mm-hmm. or you're from one place and they're in another place. So I like that you say that. Stay close to them.
Yes.
Don't just say, oh, well, I'm on my own now, but I still have some structure.
Yes.
So what does the counseling center do? What are some of the services there?
Well, the counseling center is an awesome resource for students. They don't have to have insurance at all. However, you're going to get the same services you would receive at a counseling center in the community. Yeah. So we have licensed clinicians there. We are able to diagnose. We're able to help you with coping skills, whether it's just I'm having a hard time adjusting, or if it's actually a mental health concern or crisis. We're able to address them all. And we don't turn anyone away. As long as you're a registered student, you're able to utilize our resources.
Absolutely. Now, we have a caller on the line. Again, that caller called at 757-823-9110. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Irma, and I'm calling from Portsmouth.
Okay. Irma, what is your question or comment?
Well, he asked me about a question or comment, but first of all, I'm glad to hear your voice. I always wondered where you were some television days.
Well, here I am, right here.
You're right there, and I think it's wonderful you're still in the area.
Thank you.
But anyway, I raised my grandsons. Both are going to college. One is going here. One is getting ready to embark up in Ferrum, Virginia, freshman year. And I'm kind of scared about it, but I know I have to let him go.
Right.
So I just wonder, I guess my comment or my statement is, how do you think he would do his first year? I know he's independent. I know, give me some pointers on what I can do to, you know, keep him on track and give him his independence, and you know what I'm trying to say.
I do. Janae, I'm going to start with that. What do you think about Emma saying about her grandson?
I love this question, actually. Shortly, my mom, I speak to my parents, like I said, all the time. And so, my mom, when I got out here, it would be certain things that I'm just kind of like telling her about, and she'll just go into mom mode. And she's just like, you know, you got to do this, you got to do this. And she's freaking out. And I'm like, you know what, you know how you raised me. So trust how you raised me. Like, I'm on the other side of the country, but if you have faith in how you raised me, I'm going to be okay. You know, I'm going to have to, you know, just like him, he's going to have to experience life, but you have to have faith that how you raised him was okay. And so everybody has their own life journeys, and it's not going to be until we experience them that we evolve. And so, you know, when we, you know, having a kid or someone that you watch over, you're going to automatically go into, you know, protective mode.
Yeah.
But it's going to, you know, that's okay. But, you know, to take the reins off sometime and just like, you know, give the advice and pull back, because they're still going to do what they want to do, but know that they're going to be okay. If you know that you taught them well, it's going to come through.
That's a very
I'm
good
still
point.
nervous, but anyway, and tell Benita it's good to hear her voice.
Thank you, Emma, so much, and good luck with that.
Bye-bye.
Okay. We have another caller on the line. Caller, what is your name, and where are you calling from, please?
It's Michaela. I'm calling from Hampton.
Okay, what is your question or comment? And would you please turn your radio down, Michaela, because we're getting some feedback.
Okay. I'm leaving the room.
Okay.
Is that better?
Oh, I can still hear. Can you turn down just a little bit or move a little further away from it?
Wow, I left the whole floor.
Okay. That's a little bit better. What is your question or comment, please?
My comment is really I'm a student at NSU.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a first-time student. I'm a little bit of a veteran, but it is overwhelming initially at any new campus you go to, and I found that, you know, finding the centers, you're running all over the place trying to get the help you need, but NSU has been very helpful and warm and endearing to their students for the most part, you know, but in that
Go ahead.
Okay. In that process, though, I see that sometimes everything will drag out if you don't know why you're there.
Okay.
If you don't know who, and to find out who you are, it comes over time. But to have a little bit of a foundation of where you come from, or what your values are, what you are willing to subject yourself to, and what you're not willing to subject yourself to, you really have to make that assessment before you put yourself out there on your own, or, you know, even in a nurturing environment as NSU, you really have to make that assessment, because if you're there and you're not ready to work, or you're not disciplined enough, or you just, maybe it's time for a break, because I think a lot of students really, right out of high school, they don't take the time to learn themselves or to take that break from school, you know, defuse. You just went through 12 years of public school, wherever you came from.
Right. So you need to take a breather, you're saying. Now, what resources did you find most helpful, just a couple, that you found most helpful here at NSU as a student?
I had particular staff members as far as the professors I've had. I've had some professors that have really assisted me as far as like pointing me in the right resources as far as internships, letters of recommendation, just indulging my questions if I have some. Like the professors really love. Some professors really love questions and helping the students. You know, and some professors, to be honest, you know, it varies. But the staff, I remember the first time I got there, and I went to the the registrar's office. And after we finished our transaction, the receptionist, she said, "Now I only want A's and B's from you." And she pointed at me. And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And at that moment, I felt so loved and like I had a responsibility to her, and it felt like my community.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for your call and your experiences and sharing those with us.
You're welcome.
Arkita, what do you think about what she said in terms of finding your tribe, as it were, and feeling that you're being held accountable for your actions and your academic success?
Absolutely. I think Norfolk State brings a wonderful thing to the community because we are a family. We look out for each other. We want to make sure that our students are supported. We want to make sure that they're successful. We want to make sure that anything that you came to the university with that you feel like was baggage, we want to help you to kind of work through that because your past does not dictate your future. And that's what we want to help you with. And that's what we like to do at the Counseling Center, to be able to give you that next step to walk into your future and be great. And so that community feeling on campus of, you see them, you hug them, do you need a hug? You look like you need a hug today. It's not something that you get at every university, but you get it here at Norfolk State.
And that is the difference in this culture. So what have your experiences been? Are you starting college for the first time? Are you a student here at Norfolk State or a student at another school? Parents, if you're listening out there, how are you preparing your child to go to college? Are you a first generation college student? We're talking about College Prep 101, 757-823-9110 on Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
It's Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Hampton Roads Voices. We're talking about College Prep 101. And in our studios, we have Janae Williams, who is a student here at Norfolk State. And we also have Arkita Crawley, who is with the Norfolk State Counseling Center. She's a staff counselor. Now, we have one caller on the line, and they called at 757-823-9110. Caller, what is your name, and where are you calling from, please?
Hello.
Hello. What is your name, and where are you calling from?
My name is Christina, and I'm calling from NSU campus.
Oh, absolutely. Christina, what is your question or comment, please? You're live on the air.
My question.
Christina, are you there? Hello, Christina?
Can you hear me?
You're kind of going in and out. Go ahead and try it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have to drop that call. Christina, go ahead and give us a call back. And she called at 757-823-9110. And so we'll get her back on the line. That was Christina right here from NSU's campus, 757-823-9110. And so what do you think a student should do? How do you start from the beginning and prepare? And Janae, I'm going to ask it this way. What do you wish you knew before you started college? What do you wish you had known before you even started?
From the beginning?
Yes.
I wish I would have known myself first.
Mm-hmm. In what way?
So when I first started college was in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually going to school for philosophy theology. And I stopped doing theology. I ended up getting my minister's license, so I was just focused on psychology and theology. But because I didn't know who I was, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it, I was failing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't know why I was there. It was just like, this is good information. Because I like reading and researching by myself. So I'm like, okay, I can do this on my own. I don't got to come in here and ask all these questions, find these questions on my own. And then you get lost with just, I'm not, I know a lot of people, but I'm not super social. Okay. So like, it's easy for me to kind of go into my little cave. So even with that, like I didn't learn how to network and to get help when I needed it because I didn't know what worked for me. So it was just like, I just was floating.
Yeah.
But then once I took that break and I was like, you know what, this is what I'm going back to school for. This is what I'm going to do. Oh, it was A's. I knew how to talk to my professors. I knew who to connect with. I immediately, as soon as I got into class, I was like, who the smart people? We all connected. I got those numbers like the first 2 days. I made sure I had study buddies. Like it was, and I was confident in myself enough to be able to know that I would be successful.
Right.
Because I wasn't floating around no more.
You were not floating. So knowing yourself, Arkita, I think during the break we were kind of talking about that. Knowing who you are, if you're a morning person or if you're a late night person. And as you said, 3 months ago you were 17 and now you're 18 and all of a sudden you know everything. So how do you direct in the counseling center, direct a student who is starting? What do you wish they knew? What do you tell them? How to start this?
Well, I always think about what is it that you want? Not what your mom wanted for you or your dad wanted for you. What do you want to do?
What do you want?
Because kind of to talk back to what Janae was saying, a lot of our students go to college and they don't know why they're going. They just figure it's the natural progression to go to college, and they may not know where that education is going to take them. They're not really sure about what job they want to take. So that's sometimes the question that we ask. What type of life do you want to live? Not what do you want to do for a living, but what kind of life do you want to live? To kind of have those thoughts of, do I want to have a job where I'm working 90 hours a week? Or do I want a job where I can work 30 hours a week and still live a life like I'm working 90 hours a week? To try to really get them thinking, because for the last 18 years, someone has been telling you what to do.
That's right.
And so it's a transition to be at a point where you're saying, what is it that I want? And I'm okay to want something that's different from what my family or someone else wanted for me.
And that's a major step in this maturity process to say, I know mom has always thought I was going to do that, or dad always thought, and because they thought it, I thought it too. But to say, you know what, this is not really what I want.
Yes.
This is not really where I'm going. Did you experience that, Janae, in terms of who you found out you were after a while?
Actually, yes. On June 10th, I had that question answered. I've always been very into academics and, knowing that, what I want to do in my future and especially what I want to do with my major. But my grandma, she, my father's side, me and her were very, very close, like very close. And I just remember when I moved here, and even before I moved here, I just was, I got to be successful for grandma. Like, I got to do this for grandma. Grandma has to be proud. And they're like, grandma's proud of you, Jen. I'm like, no. I got to get this degree. I'm going to get my master's. I'm going to get my PhD. And my grandma's just going to fall out at every graduation. Like, this is for her until she passed. And then when she passed, and I didn't expect her to pass, I sat in my room. I said, dang, like, what am I doing this for?
Right.
Like, I was so busy engulfing my success in somebody else that when they're gone, what am I? Right. So I had to take this was in June. And I'm like, wow, like I'm doing all these things on campus. I've always done something. And that's when I was like, it was the self-drive that, I did it for her, but she wanted it for me.
She wanted it for you.
And so it was that self-love, that more, because I already love myself, but I had to really just look at my life in a 360 view.
Right.
And really, I'm just so in love about just self-pushing. Regardless of what people think. And, I fought through so many things growing up, what people think and thought. Like, I'm the most unique person ever. Like, I'm just me. I don't care. I'm just me. But just with my education, I had to not think about anything else but myself.
Right.
So.
And for our callers, again, 757-823-9110. Perhaps you're in the phase right now of self-discovery, or your child is in the phase of self-discovery. So how do you let them take the reins of this college experience? How do they learn to maneuver in this system? We want to hear from you. 757-823-9110. So you talked about your college story. Let's talk about work-life school balance, because that is a huge piece. When people come here, maybe they have a child, maybe, of course, they have their academics, they many times have to work. So how do you direct them in terms of, in the counseling center, how do you have this work-life school balance?
Well, we often say, do you have a planner? That's the first thing, because when you have life and life experiences and life stressors, if you're trying to keep it all in your brain, oftentimes you're going to forget something. It's going to have you riled up, and then you're anxious. And then that impacts how you function through your day and how you function at school. So when we can be able to have a little bit more structure in our lives, it helps us out. Some things we just can't avoid. Stress is unavoidable. But how we deal with the stress is something that we can work on. So oftentimes we will ask people, what are your supports? Who are your supports? Who can help you in those times to keep your child, to give you an opportunity to do some homework, or who can help you if you need some time at work, or however, but try to really get them to think about their lives and the support system to be able to pull a little bit of things off of their plate so that they can focus on school, and also put it in perspective. School isn't forever. Right. I often tell students it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term reward. So you kind of keep that in mind so you can keep moving forward and keep moving forward.
That's right. The 360, you talked about that. And as I was preparing for the show, I was reading some material that talks about students to stay organized, control their impulses, self-monitor, and to plan. And something as simple as literally having a planner to say, Monday I have to do this, Friday I have to do this, I need to do that. That's the important. And Janae, didn't you say that you do that in terms of having a planner or something of that nature?
Most definitely. I have a planner. I carry note cards. I have a large calendar. So even this morning, I took a large note card and I put down, these are my priorities of the day. And I put little bubbles on the side to check it off. So before I go to sleep, I want to make sure all those bubbles are checked off, and it's in a visible place. Every time I go into my room or I carry it in my purse, it's a reminder, as well as during the semester, I have a planner. And on my calendar, I have a big old life-size calendar, and I used to do the paper ones, but I found that, because I use them all the time, I might as well have something that lasts longer. So I have the dry eraser, and so I write my notes on there. I put my timings, my dates, what's important, my days to myself. I even put in, free time for my friends, because I like going out. I love having fun with my friends. And sometimes you get so caught up in that where you lose priorities. So I just, they know, especially in semester, and I like being, and also about who you're connected with. Make sure that you're around people that'll also make you accountable. So my friends, we will disappear during the semester, and I'll tell them, or they'll tell me, you're not going to see me for a whole week because I got stuff I got to do. That's all right, I'll see you. We go out to lunch, or we'll check up on each other. And I know that you're handling your business, so it's pushing me more to handle my business.
Absolutely. And what have your experiences been? 757-823-9110. How do you create school, life, work balance for yourself? How are you preparing your child, for example, or as a caregiver, or as a parent, a grandparent, to give them those tools to create that school, life, work balance? Again, give us a call, 757-823-9110. So I love the thought of a planner and to be held accountable. So how does that student approach? I'm going to start with you, Arkady. How does the student approach a professor? Maybe this is the first time they come and they're having, maybe the work life is pretty good, the home life pretty good, but this academics, I'm having a problem with one of my professors, or understanding the assignments, or I've fallen behind. How do they take the initiative to go and approach their professors?
I think it has a lot to do with the golden rule, kind of do unto others as you'd have. Being respectful goes a long way. Professors have a lot that they're going through, and just as students do, but it's really important to take into account, I need some help. Let me kind of be humble and ask for help and be clear in what I'm needing help with. I think Janae made a good point about being accountable. If you know you're not doing the work, be honest. You know what? I'm not doing the work because I don't understand it, and I've gotten a tutor, or how can I get a tutor? People are more than happy to help you. But when you can be honest about what your needs are, people will help you. But when you try to kind of skirt around things and maybe have an attitude, or, don't come to class, you're not talking to the professor, you're not emailing them, and then at the end of the semester, here you come needing some help, that professor, the only thing they have to go on is your track record. And you haven't really given them a really good one. So at that point, you have an attitude because they may not want to be as helpful. Because where have you been? Where have you been? Yeah. Exactly. Or when you need that recommendation for that scholarship or what have you, and you say, can you give me, say, wait a minute, I haven't seen you in 3 weeks. Right. Where have you been? Yeah. So that is important. Janae, what do you think about that?
I extremely agree with that. I'm a person of character and integrity. Like, that's how my parents raised me. So with me knowing how I was in my past, not being so successful in school, and I would shy away from speaking to my teachers due to, just life situations. I was scared of looking like, I did not care or, feeling bad. So I learned immediately, like once I found myself and I got back into school, I jump right into it. I go straight to my teacher. I introduce myself. And I keep it 100 the whole time. I update my teachers. Oh, I seen this. Like, I want them to know I have open communication with you. So if something falls through, they know, okay, she keeps communicating with me. Evidently, there is a real issue. If I didn't show up in class, I am communicating with you. If I didn't understand, if I missed an assignment, honestly, sometimes I just didn't feel like doing an assignment. And I told the teacher, I slipped up this time. Can you help us this out? And they'd be like, you know what? I got you, Janae, because you've already been like this. So I can, give you that slack. So
I like that. And really staying in contact with your professor. And I like that you say you go up there and you introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Janae Williams. I'm going to be in your class. It's going to be a pleasure to learn. We have a caller on the line, and they called again at 757-823-9110. What is your name, and where are you calling from, please? You're live on the air.
Yes, my name is Albert, and I'm calling from Portsmouth, Virginia.
Okay, Albert, what is your question or comment, please?
Well, my comment is, it starts in the early age of school, and, the part of preparing your child for college and everything, they're coming up in the early age, they used to skip children to first grade, second grade, third grade, and stuff like that. You skip from one. I was skip from 1 to 3.
Wow. Okay.
I'm to the third grade, and that's because of my mentality part and everything. And then when I went to another school, changed the school in the state, they put me back, and they found out I was smarter than what it was, and then they turned around and they put me back up to 2 grades. When you skip a child in that early age, they can lose the point for when they graduate, and that can turn into be a real problem for a kid that needs to get forward and can't graduate because they don't have enough units, is what it is. Yeah, and that held me back. And even though I was college material and everything, but back when I was in school, the opportunities that the children have now, they are not, they didn't have it when I was in. So it was kind of rough for me, but I never did make it to college. And I'm getting ready to turn 75, and I'm thinking about going on to college.
I was going to say, it's never too late, Albert. Thank you so much for your call. We appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Crawley, what do you think about that? Again, obviously it's never too late, but when he was talking about how that was done and maybe not being as prepared as perhaps he could have been.
Right. And oftentimes children can be very smart. And if they are skipped ahead, sometimes socially they're not ready to go to that next grade.
Yes.
Because sometimes you may have students that are in college that are 15 and they're dealing with 19, 20-year-old problems. So that can cause some difficulty for them to struggle. And again, in the counseling center, we help them to address that so that they can be able to maneuver in that situation. But it happens every day.
It
Absolutely.
does. It sounds wonderful. Oh, my kid went to college at 16 or 15. Academically, that sounds great.
Right.
But socially and emotionally, there's a challenge. Now, Janae, you said that you had started college earlier, you stopped, and then you came back as more of a non-traditional, more mature student. How did you change? How was it different? How did you approach it after you came back the second time?
I was just more focused, more vocal about my needs. I made sure that I networked, I communicated. Communication was the key for me because I knew what it was like to not communicate it, and I was extremely unsuccessful in that. And so I've always tested high. I was always in honors, but then I'll just fall back because I wouldn't communicate. My teacher's like, what happened to you? You're bright, but what happened? And I'm scared to say what happened. So I'm just like, oh, well, shoot, I don't know. We're about to figure this out later. And then nobody ever figured it out. So once I came back, and especially, I guess now being older, In school here, I just, like I say, I communicate and I just network. I make sure I'm around people that motivate me and that are accountable. And I put myself in positions, even if there was nobody there, I was the only person that cared, which is not happening. But if so, I put myself in positions where it forces me to have to be successful. So I start things and I make sure people know, okay, I do this. So now they're looking at me to see, okay, is she going to warm up to what she say?
That's right. Held accountable. And Albert, again, like we said, it's not too late. You said you're 75 or almost 75. Come on over here and we can help you out with that. Again, we're talking about College Prep 101 on Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
It's Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about College Prep 101 here on Hampton Roads Voices. We've had a great conversation so far, and we want to hear from you at 757-823-9110. We do have one caller on the line. Caller, what is your name, please, and where are you calling from? You're live on the air.
Hello, my name is Christina, and I'm calling from NSU campus.
Okay, Christina, what is your question or comment, please?
I had a comment about something you guys were talking about earlier. As a student on campus, I'm a transfer student, and I was kind of like in my bubble a lot because I was adjusting. But I noticed when you extend the branch on campus, it really helps you kind of adjust more. Like even if you are an in-state student or an out-of-state student, like we pretty much all want the same objective, really, to like have a lot of friends, long-lasting relationships, get good grades, have a good experience, get degrees for the lowest price, of course. But like, ultimately, yeah, for the low, a little deal. But I noticed, like, when you open that door and extend that branch, it helps, like, bring more awareness because you're able to find out more about scholarships and new clubs opening, and you're, like, kind of more guaranteed to a chance to succeed and a better experience. I notice a lot of the culture here is it's really separate on campus. And I'm from California, where it's like everyone's individualist, but we don't mind coming together. But like a lot of people don't really extend that branch. And like I was fortunate enough to like extend the branch, and it helped me in times when I really didn't have any friends or anything. So faculty and professors, and even your like neighbors in the suites, like they don't mind helping you, but like if they don't know you, they don't know if you're willing to accept their help. So I feel like extending that branch on campus is like really extremely important and fundamental for students, really, because like it's college. We're in college, okay? So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like last semester I was in a bubble. Over the summer, I started to extend the branch more and more, and I realized people love me. Like, if I do this more often, you know, like, I'll be able to enjoy my experience more. Because it's hard for transfer students, but I'm pretty sure it's just as hard for in-state students. But a lot of people are kind of shy. But it's like, I feel like a high here and there, and like talking to faculty and janitors, and just you never know who can be helped and who can help in their life just by kind of extending a branch, because we all really need each other. I remember when I was recruited here, like to come here, they were speaking about family and how family, like the NSU campus was a family experience. And you know, families are a little cray-cray. They can be, and you know, the campus it has its dysfunctional attributes, but for the most part, like one thing is always coming together. And if that branch isn't there, no one really has anything to really grab onto to keep us all together. So I think that's really important.
Christina, thank you so much for your question or comment. We appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And exactly what Christina is saying, just extend that olive branch and show yourself friendly to make some friends and get involved in those organizations. And Christina again called us at 823-9110. What have your experiences been? How did you make friends? What organizations did you join? What organizations are you recommending for your child or grandchild or what have you, friends, as they're coming to a campus, whether it's this campus or any other campus? 757-823-9110. Janae, she mentioned she's from California, but also the thing of finding friends. Is that, were those your experiences as well?
No, I didn't have an issue finding friends. I'm a talker. So I was, my first day, when classes started, I went to go grab something to eat and, it was packed. And so the old Janae, before I came back, I was like, I would get really, really nervous. So I would probably just go to my car or I just go, off campus to go eat, go home. But I can't do that here. So I'm like, I came here for the experience. So I just found a random girl. I said, is anybody sitting here? She said, no. I said, well, we're going to eat together, friend. And then we've known each other since. So it's been a whole 2 years. And then from her, I met all these other girls and guys and we be cool. I just, I compliment people. I open myself because I know what it was like to not be open.
That's right. So. That thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back on the other side on Hot 91.
It's Hampton Roads Voices. Hot 91.
Now, Ms. Crawley, have you found that to be the case as well when over in the counseling center when someone says, well, I'm all by myself and I can't seem to find any friends? What do you tell them?
Well, I often say if you are closed and guarded, no one can get to know how wonderful you are. And when we open up and allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we find that we're more alike than we're different. And there's always something in common and you're able to help each other. And oftentimes if they can kind of say, you know what, it's not about you being perfect because no one is perfect. It's about finding your way and getting this experience and learning new people and meeting new people. Allow yourself to just do that and not judge it. A lot of times people say, well, I'm not this cute or I'm not this. You're uniquely wonderful.
Yes.
And everyone, you have a niche here as well. And if you believe that, you'll find your group of friends and those long-lasting relationships.
That's right. Now, Janae, what organization? Tell us a little bit about your organization, West Coast Connect, and that is, of course, as it is a part of here at Norfolk State.
So I am the founder and president of West Coast Connect here, and so because I am, a California student, when I came here, I have no family on the East Coast. None in the South that I know of yet, because I know we everywhere. But when I came here, me being acclimated here was kind of tough. Those first 4 months was hard. My style was different. How I talked was different. People immediately knew I wasn't from here. And go to Walmart. Where are you from? You look different. And then it just was I just felt like that little black dot in the sea of just, I don't know. I just stood out. And so, even communicating, I communicate a little bit different. I can, I'm from the city, so I can come off a little bit aggressive when people, want to say good morning. It's a whole conversation. I'm not used to that. At home, we just walk past each other. It's not we trying to be rude. It's just I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I noticed that just talking to other students from California over time, I can just see their style. I'm like, dang, they're from California. Or they're not from here. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Philly. Oh, I'm from here. So I was like, it'll be dope to try something on the campus. So the woman that was over the tour, Nicole Ford, she referred me to someone on campus. And so we kind of came up with the concept. So it is basically to help, West Coast students, but not just West Coast students, but like what Christina was stating, to help all students kind of come together because we're all from different states. We all have different cultures. We have different experiences, but we're here for one purpose, and that's for education. But we want to have that college experience. We want to have fun. We want to, experience different people's culture. When I meet somebody from New York, they be like, I'm from the Bronx. I'm like, oh my God, it's like Jay-Z in the flesh. I be like, what? I'm really far from home now. I be lit. Everybody just gets so, when you really just talk to somebody and get to know where they're from, it gives you a whole different perspective. And so, I really wanted to create an organization in which we do that. And so it's also very much so focused on academics. I'm in honors. So I hit the dean's list, and I know that that's scholarly, especially being at a HBCU. So if you're going to be at HBCU, be the greatest.
Yes.
And so I want it to be students that, become one, wanted to get to know one another, but understand that, we came to a HBCU for a reason, and we want to be top success. We already are the minority, but we want to be the majority when it comes to excellence.
So how can they find out? I know you have to go in a few minutes, and we're going to have one other student come here and speak with us on air. But how can they find out more about West Coast Connect, and how can they find you?
So right now, this will be our first legit semester in fall.
Okay.
So hand claps. You guys can't hear, but I clap. But, so you guys can actually contact me through my email as of right now, and that is at wjenee@ymail.com, or you can DM me on my Instagram, and it's JAYRODULAH. That's J Rodula. So right now we're in the process of our social media. That should be up this week, and so once you guys DM me and give me your information, we can shoot you our website. We're doing that. We're going to have the fits on deck. Fits at home is the merchandise. They're going to have the clothes. Like we're going to live it up. So
I love it. Absolutely. And let me say, I found you on LinkedIn on the My NSU story. So make sure you guys go to nsu.edu. You'll see Janae and her story. It's like, who is this person? I've got to have her. So Janae, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you.
After this break, we're going to have another student in, and we're going to continue with Ms. Crawley on Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
It's Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
Welcome back, everyone. Hampton Roads Voices. We're talking about College Prep 101. Don't forget, we want to hear from you. 757-823-9110. How has your college experience been so far? If you're a new student just starting the semester, what are you looking for? What are you anticipating? If you're sending your child or grandchild here or at Norfolk State or at any university for the first time, we want to hear from you as well. And what is it like in terms of being successful academically? What does that mean to you? 757-823-9110. Well, we have someone else in our studio. First of all, we're going to continue with Arkita Crawley. She is a staff counselor at the Norfolk State Counseling Center. Thank you so much, Arkita, for continuing with us this hour.
Absolutely.
And then now we have another NSU student, Marvin Folks. You may know him as Scandalous here at Hot 91. Scandalous, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, so we're talking about this College Prep 101, the successful student academically. Tell us a little bit about your college experience. What's your story?
Yes, well, my story is pretty long, but okay.
The short version.
The short version, Miss Benita Adams. Well, after I graduated high school, Bayside High School, 2006, I was around performing, yada, yada, yada. So I was doing the whole music thing, and 7 years goes by, and I'm like, whew, the industry started getting crazy. Things started, the recession came about, and, so next thing you know, I received a letter in the mail saying that I was approved for Tidewater Community College. I was like, approved? I was like, the daggone mom and my sister. So my mother's a counselor at Moy High School. My sister's a counselor at Bayside 6th grade campus, and they're both graduate students from Norfolk State. So they figured that I need to go ahead and get into college. So by the time I decided to surrender and start my college career, I was 25 years old at the time. So fast forward to now, I'll be 30 this month actually, and it's been kind of a ride, but I've been enjoying it. It's been tough being a non-traditional student, but I would say that the maturity and getting a lot of the partying and the wanting to run around in your early 20s and stuff, I got that out of my system. So it's easy for me to stay home on the weekend, study, listen to the professor, and all that type of stuff.
So how is it for you in terms of we were hearing from Janae, who's also a non-traditional student, a little bit older and so forth, interacting with the traditional student on campus? Okay, that person hasn't gotten that party out of his partying out of his system.
Yes.
He is 18, 17, 19, and here you are almost 30.
Yes.
How do you make that fit? How do you make that
Well,
work?
when I first started at the community college at TCC, I got my social science associates from there. When I first started there, because of the military and I guess just it being a community college, it was a variety of ages, you know. But once I got to Norfolk State, 2017, it was like, ooh, man, everything is funny. They're loud and they're excited. And here I am just kind of dull and just walking around like, all right, I want to do my work. So it was kind of hard for me to blend in at first, but they pretty much accepted me. And it took a while for them to, because they noticed that I wasn't their age, and not just by how I look, but by my demeanor.
Yes.
So they were kind of like standoffish for a while. I mean, like for like a semester or two.
Wow.
Then after they saw me around campus walking around, I'm a computer science major, so most of my classes are in the Robertson Tech building. So after they saw me in there for at least a semester or two, they're like, okay, he's a cool guy. He doesn't really bother anybody. And, you know, and I met some of the smartest people I've ever spoken to in my life that are 8, 9, 10 years younger than me.
Right.
Literally.
Arkita, how do you advise the non-traditional student?
I always say you come with so much more. You have that very thing of experience that the younger student does not have. And so you have a place at the university because sometimes they may not have that support system or that big brother, sister, mom, or somebody to guide them and say, hey, that's cool, but maybe go that way. But being a non-traditional student, you're able to say that and say, hey, look, you might want to try this. And
Yes.
they look up to you and, you know, they need that guidance. And so I feel that our non-traditional students are just as important as our traditional students because
Yes.
oftentimes they are graduating and because they know what it's like to be out there without an education. So when you come back as a non-traditional student, it's time to work because you got some things that you want to do and accomplish. So that's what I normally tell our non-traditional students, that you have a great role here as well.
You do.
Yes.
Scandalous, what do you wish you had known before you even started college? Was there something you wish you had known or you would do differently, perhaps?
What would I do differently? Really nothing. Starting off in the music industry at such a young age, I learned business and relationships.
Oh, good.
And I learned that mostly anything that you do is built off of relationship. And over in the computer science department, in that field, a lot of times we may be working on coding or troubleshooting, stuff like that that's a little complicated. And a lot of times if you're doing it on your own, you're going to bust your brain. So a lot of times they preach over there is do not work on your own. Well, I see a lot of the younger guys will still work on their own because they have this bubble. And a few of them, I have broken them out of that shell. Like, hey, look, you know, you can't just say I'm going to accept this C or this D because I don't know how to talk to you. And I've watched some of those guys do that and say, hey, look, I know how to do this part of the code. You know how to do that part of the code. Let's combine it together. I check yours, you check mine, and let's get this A. So I learned how to build relationships, and it was kind of tough. Like I said, me being 8, 9, 10 years older than most of them, it was kind of tough because, you know, they'll have their headphones on, they're listening to the music all day. And although I'm a musician myself, I don't always listen to music. So like, look, I want to focus on this. And, you know, they got the new age rappers that I don't even know, that, you know, they're playing and it's just loud. I'm like, how do you even study and I can't do that. You know, I don't want to. So I think relationships are very, very important.
I think so, too. Are you a non-traditional student and you're listening today? 757. Give us a call, 823-9110. We're talking to Marvin Folks, known as Scandalous here. He's talking about his experience as a non-traditional student and a staff counselor from the NSU Counseling Center, Miss Crawley, Arkita Crawley. So in terms of organizations that you connected yourself with, are there any particular ones, at least here on the NSU campus, that you could recommend to a new or returning student to say, be a part of this, find out about this?
I would tell them try to come and be a part of the radio station. I was looking for, you know, somewhere to get in where I fit in. And of course, me just having a relationship with music, this is where I fit in pretty quickly. And it also helped because I took a technology internship class this past spring, and I used the radio station for that because everything that we do here is ran by technology. Like right now, we're doing what they're called voice over IP addresses, audio over IP. Like if you read that right there, it says WheatNet IP by Wheatstone. That's the company, but that's how our voice is being transmitted through fiber wire to their cars and their homes and stuff.
So you found your place, and that again, Ms. Crowley, is what you're saying. Find your spot, find your tribe, find your people.
Yeah, find your niche. People always have some different little quirks about them that make them unique, and then you find other people who have some of those same interests, and you build upon them, and you find that becomes your support system when things are good, when things are bad, and it helps you to be able to progress and do well. So it's so important to find where you fit in. You don't want to be an island in this big old university because you want to have people there to help you, and there are people to help you, but if they don't know that you need the help,
that's right,
how can they give the assistance?
That's almost like one of our callers, Christina, said she extended the olive branch.
Yes.
And then these other students realized that she was a friendly, warm, fun person, and in turn she made friends with people.
Absolutely.
And that is so important. And Scandalous, you're over there shaking your head saying absolutely
right. It is, because
right.
when I first came here, I had this guard up, and I was like, look, I'm older than y'all, and I don't really want to talk to y'all either, but after I got to get a good feel and check them out and see, man, they're not, these kids are smart, especially over there at Robertson. I was working with a guy that has designed his own video game.
Wow.
On a laptop. literally, it looked like, the latest video game. And I said, man, you're going to be a millionaire. And he's like, oh, man, and I said, no, you are. I'm calling it for you. But, yeah, relationships and extending the olive branch, you have to.
You absolutely
you cannot stay to yourself. Student accounts, financial aid, they will all tell you. They know my face. They may forget my name sometimes. I don't go around boasting about radio or anything like that, but I'm always looking for help. And I think that everyone should learn to, get rid of the pride and get help.
That's right. Absolutely. Now, we had talked during the break, Ms. Crowley, a little bit about some of the stress that a student can have. And we mentioned the financial burden sometimes can cause some stress. How do you recommend that they deal with any stress that they have, a student?
Well, one, of course, I'm always going to plug the NSU Counseling Center.
Absolutely.
And we teach meditation. We do meditation in just about every one of our sessions. And it's so important to do so because oftentimes we're dealing with stress. It's new, whether you're a traditional student or a non-traditional student, and you don't know what to do with it.
Right.
And you need some coping skills, and maybe mom can't give you that hug because she's too close, too far away.
That's right.
But being able to meditate and ground yourself helps you to be able to reset and kind of think through it a lot clearer than what you were thinking before.
I love that. We have a caller on the line. Caller, what is your name? And where are you calling from, please? You're live.
Oh, Mr. English, calling from Chesapeake.
Okay, what is your question or comment, please?
Pretty much a comment on piggybacking off of the guy with the non-traditional student thing. I experienced both sides. I guess because of him being in the military, coming from the reserve side and still in the reserve. Because at first I was a traditional student coming in as a transfer from Shaw University, and then going to Norfolk State. It seemed a little bit more welcoming and more that warming sensation. And then around that junior year, I decided, to join the military. And then, being just out for like 2 semesters, but I wasn't really out of school. It was just a different type of school, mentally. And then coming back and seeing, and seeing the change with the students and stuff, they could probably see the change a little bit too, and just being more extroverted with your professors and talking to them, because pretty much in the military it's all about teamwork and camaraderie, and to get the mission accomplished. So that's probably a big thing on freshmen and sophomores coming in. But they have to build that confidence, when they get there, or have some type of mentor to instruct them on that, and hopefully they can build it up. Because those first years, it's going to be hard for them, to build that confidence. They might be too busy partying and stuff like that. They want to go to all the homecomings and fraternities and stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess something that could probably help the new upperclassmen is maybe just looking to work study that freshman year, so that way, they don't have to get too distracted of off-campus things. Because sometimes you got these freshmen that want to come in and they just want to do it big as soon as they get in there, and too much. They can't really focus on school. They're like, well, come on, bro, let's go get an apartment and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
It's like, nah, you don't need to do that, man. Just focus on your classes for right now. And whatever your roommate situation is, I mean, it is what it is. Or talk to your RA and see if you can switch it up. And I mean, if you want to bring some income coming in, maybe just to bring that satisfaction in to help you, so you won't be so stressed out in class, is maybe a little bit of work study, and then just do that, and then maybe just one summer class. But sometimes, they might be so drained out, they're like, no, I'm gonna take a break, but. I mean, honestly, I think the best thing to do is just continue to keep doing it. But if you're going to do a summer class, just maybe do one. That way it'll take you so long to graduate. Because you got some you might just see around campus. You'd be like, dang, man, what's going on? But they scared to talk. They're like, no, it's not scared to talk. Just come talk to me, man. You don't have to listen to what I'm saying. I'm just trying to lend my advice.
Right. So your experiences. Thank you so much for telling us that. We appreciate it.
All right.
So Scandalous, he's saying some of the same things, getting out there and showing yourself friendly and getting focused. Make a comment on what he's saying.
Yes. I definitely agree with the summer classes. I've done, let me see, I started college January 2014, and this is my second summer off. Mm-hmm. I've always taken summer classes to accelerate. And speaking of accelerated, the classes are accelerated themselves. They're longer, and I know I did summer courses last summer here, and it was Monday through Thursday, and each class was 2 hours long, and right. I did 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did 3, 1 online and 2 in person. And, if you're trying to do summer school to catch up, you just got to really be diligent and focused, and that's when you really need to build your relationships, because a lot of the students are going to be going back home, and now you're stuck with maybe the non-traditional students or the students that are born and raised here in Virginia. So you want to just try to meet everybody. You don't want to be stuck with just the people that are living in your dorm room or only in your major.
That's right, because there's so many people you can learn from. We're going to take a break in a moment. But again, give us a call, 757-823-9110. We're talking about College Prep 101 on Hampton Roads Voices.
Is Hampton Roads Voices. Hot 91.
Welcome back to Hampton Roads Voices. I'm Benita Adams, and we're talking about College Prep 101. We have Marvin Folks, known as Scandalous, here, an NSU student, and we also have from a staff counselor from the NSU Counseling Center, Miss Arkita Crawley. Now, we just heard from a caller who also said, Scandalous, that he was a non-traditional student, and you were talking about how important it is to interact. Both of you are talking about how important it is to interact with other students. So, Scandalous, tell us about how you create the work-life school balance as a non-traditional student.
It was very tough at first, but my father used to always tell me, because music has been my life since like 12 years old. Mm-hmm. And I have a home studio ever since I was that age, and always had equipment, keyboards, and all that stuff. So my father would hear me making my music and stuff, playing the keys and everything, and he saw that that's all I wanted to do. But he said, look, son, you have to have that same drive that you have for your music. You have to have it for anything else that you do. So that's how I learned. I took that knowledge and learned to balance school, work, and a social life just by putting my heart into it, not saying, okay, my heart's just going to be into this one thing. So when I came to school, I said, okay, I may not like calculus. I may not like creating these codes or anything like that. But somewhere, somehow, I have to find it in my heart, to put my heart into it, to to make it mine. And that's how I learned how to balance it. So it's like my heart is in everything, not just like, all right, I'm out having fun with my friends or a relationship or whatnot. Then I come to school and like, oh. Then I go to work and I'm like, oh. So it's like, no, my heart is here, and there. So I just kind of make it that way, even if it's not real. But is it because we human beings, we like to operate off of feelings,
Right.
So sometimes, you just got to make yourself feel like you like it, even if you really don't.
The fake it till you make it
The
kind of
fake
thing.
it till you make it.
So how do you teach them that at the counseling center? How do you teach them, I'm not feeling this calculus, or I'm not feeling this class. I don't even like this professor. Well, how do you do it anyway? How do you teach them to do it anyway?
Well, you change your mindset. When you change your mindset, you can change your life. And oftentimes we look at things based on prior experiences. Scandalous mentioned how we operate on feelings. We are emotional. We're human beings. And so oftentimes we may not like calculus because maybe in our past, the math teacher said we weren't good at it. Versus if we think about the fact of, hey, look, this is calculus and I'm going to conquer this. I can do this. I may need a little help, but it helps us to be able to persevere through that when we change our mindset. But when we think I can't do it, well, your mind is not going to argue with you. It's going to say, okay, we can't do it. And so we say, I can do it. I will try to do it. I'm working on it. You want to make those statements of positivity versus those statements of negativity so that you are able to reach those goals you have set for yourself and be able to focus on those things that you may not necessarily like.
That's right. And pushing, no matter what, finding the discipline somewhere and bringing it over to your academics and so forth.
Yes.
What are some harsh realities, Scandalous, that you learned, found out, had to experience since you've been in school?
A harsh reality is that you might feel, coming from the not going straight into college, 18, 19, 20, and you're kind of like just running rampant. Like somebody said, I was listening before I came in on air, somebody said you're 18 and you're thinking that you're grown. So, you hit 18 and there are clubs that allow you to be 18. So I'm going to just run the club. I'm in there, So after you do that for maybe a couple of years, like I did, you get into school and you realize, man, I'm pretty stationary. You might also start to feel stagnant, even though you're not really, you're really moving forward, but it's like you're here. Right. You're in this classroom. You just can't get up and leave. I mean, you can, but it just wouldn't be smart to, so that was kind of the harsh reality. But once you break yourself in and you learn how to discipline yourself to sit still. My sister used to always tell me that, sit still. You're always moving, always flying somewhere. Just sit still, and I'm like, okay. So that was the harsh reality for me, is to be still. And to be honest with you, being here over the summer, full time for the radio station this summer has helped me tremendously because me being on campus, I love to go to the library, whether I'm reading or I'm just in there, just because it's peaceful, it's quiet, so it has helped me already put my mind into that state where, all right, I'm on campus. I'm here. Whether you're doing the work or not, you have to put yourself in that element.
In the environment.
Yes.
I was one of our guest at one point. She's a fitness person, and she was saying that even if you just go to the gym and sit there for a minute, if you keep doing that, eventually they're going to say, you know what, I might get on that treadmill.
Yes.
I am at the library. Maybe I will open my book. And I see this person studying, and this person looks like they're studying. Maybe I'll try that studying thing. So what do you tell them about, this is college? This is really college. What do you tell them?
Well, I think that college is different for everybody, and it's also based on what your goals are for college. Some people come to college just to get away from home. And so then once they've gotten here, they've peaked because they're away from home. But oftentimes when it's college, it's like, what do you want to do with college? What do you want that end result to look like? And are the steps that you're taking moving you forward to your goals, or are they taking you further away from your goals? Like, what are you really here for?
Right.
And are you really, do you have a plan? And if you don't have a plan, be honest with yourself and say, I don't know why I'm here. And I need some help to figure out why I'm here. And so that's what we do. We try to help mitigate those questions of, why am I here? What do I want to do? What is this going to do for me in the long run?
That's right.
And it's all about you, because at this point you have this transition period of you're always going to be your parents' child, but now you're a young adult.
Yes, you are.
And being a young adult, some of the decisions you make, they're your own, and they don't have anything to do with mom and dad. And some things you don't tell mom and dad. And it's based on your decision, and some of the decisions you make may not be exactly right, and some of them may not be exactly wrong, but they're yours to make so that you can be able to say, okay, now this is an experience. I tried this the last time. It didn't work. I'm going to do something different the next time. Because if we are sheltered and don't make our own decisions, then we're kind of lost. What do we do? Because you're used to somebody telling you what to do. You want to go ahead and have that opportunity to go through life and make your decisions and learn from them.
And learn and own those,
Yes.
the consequences of that.
Yes.
See, if mama hadn't said that, if daddy had, the teacher hadn't said it, then I would, my roommate, no. You made that
That's your stuff.
decision.
Yes.
Yep.
That's on you.
Yes.
Admit it and
Yeah.
take the,
Yes.
and take the fall
Yes.
for it. Scandalous, you're shaking your head over there.
Yes, because my sister she always joked me, because that was me at one point. Man, if you didn't do this, then I would have not done that. You know, if you didn't say this, then I wouldn't have did this. You know, that was me at one point. I will admit that, and it's kind of a hard behavior to break out of.
It is.
You know, because it's an easy scapegoat. You know, it's like, okay, well, that happened because you said that. I would have did it like this.
Yeah.
But I was going to do that anyways, whether you said it or not.
Absolutely. And that is important in terms of taking the responsibility when you come to your
Yes.
professors.
Yes.
Instead of, no, you didn't say that in class. You said, 25 other people heard me say that in
Right.
class.
Yes.
You did not hear that.
Yes.
No, you, that is important to take. If you are that young adult, to take the responsibility for your actions.
Yes.
Say, I messed up, or I didn't mess up, or I do understand, or I don't understand, and going straight with that.
Yes.
That's very important.
Yes.
And take the initiative to go to the professor's office one-on-one. A lot of students, that's one of the things I've noticed with the younger students is, it's just, I don't know, it's this pride thing. It's like, well, I'm here, you know, I'm not about to run down behind him. And I'm like, look, he's not going to run down, or she is not going to run down behind you either.
That's right.
So when midterm or, you know, end of semester come, don't try to bombard the office then, because everyone is doing it. And they're looking at you like,
Everyone.
where were you at September, October? Now here we are,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving time, and you're trying to, no. So you have to take that initiative and don't shelve yourself in.
That's right. Again, what have your experiences been with 757-823-9110? Are you starting college for the first time? Are you sending a child to college? Are you a non-traditional student? We want to hear from you. 757-823-9110. And that is important, as you said, Scandalous, in order to stay in touch with that teacher.
Yes.
Because again, as we mentioned before, when you need that recommendation, when you need that understanding and the, oh, okay, well, I'll give you a second chance because I get it now. When you need that, and all students need that at one point in their college career, you'll have that advocate in your corner. Is that what you tell them in
Yes,
the counseling center?
absolutely. Because when it boils down to it, your professors are going to eventually be your colleagues. And these are also going to be the people who are going to have jobs and know people, because most of the time your field is pretty small. So you want to have that opportunity to say, you know what, I know this person has a great work ethic. I can vouch for them. I can give them a reference. I can give them a job, or I can point them in the right direction.
That's right.
But if they don't feel that you are even being accountable with your work, why would I give you a job? Why would I give you a reference when you're not doing the work now just to get the grade?
In essence, why would I put myself on the line
Yes,
for you?
absolutely. Yes,
And that's
absolutely.
exactly what they're saying. So all of those things come in play. Don't wait till Thanksgiving to say, oh, yeah, I know I missed 5 classes, but I'm here. So again, that's what we're talking about. College Prep 101 at 757-823-9110. This is Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
Is Hampton Roads Voices. Hot 91.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about College Prep 101. I'm Benita Adams, and this is Hampton Roads Voices. We have here in the studio Marvin Folks, also known as Scandalous, an NSU student, and the staff counselor at the NSU Counseling Center, Miss Arkita Crawley. And we're talking about just really being prepared. Now, Scandalous, tell us about your study regimen. You're a non-traditional student. We talked about that work-life school balance. What is an effective study regimen?
Well, my effective way of studying is, first I had to learn what type of learner I am. And it made sense because I'm a musician. I'm an auditorial learner. So what I learned is that I would sometimes, with technology, and that's the cool part with the younger generation, is that, you know, they have more technology than what I did in high school, because high school was just a mess for me. I'm not even gonna lie. But anyways, so I would use my cell phone and I would record my professor,
Excellent.
their voice, not videotape or whatnot. And I would go back and listen to it over and over and over and over again until it just clicks in my head. So when it's time to take the test, I'm like, okay, yeah, he said that.
Okay.
So that's one of my most effective studying skills.
I love that. How do you teach them in the counseling center? What do you recommend? I know there are different learning styles, but some recommendations that you give the students.
Well, the first thing I always ask them is, what's your optimal time? Like, when are you're at your best? Is it early in the morning, or is it in the evening? Is it, do you have to take a nap first and then wake back up? So I have them to try to think about what their optimal time of study is, and then use that. That's the time you want to study. And then you start to build in other pieces. If you're not as good in math, then you want to get a tutor. And you want to do those things early in the semester, not waiting to the last minute. When usually in that first 2 or 3 classes, if you're going to be struggling.
Right.
And so you want to go out and get a tutor so they can help you. You want to also know, is music an option for you, or do you need total quiet? Because oftentimes people don't know how they study. And once you identify what works best for you, studying becomes easier and you don't procrastinate as much because you have a plan now. And you start to use that plan, and then you're starting to see the rewards of it, because normally your grades are a whole lot better because you're taking the time to focus on it.
Scandalous, what about study groups? Were you ever a part of study groups or creating the study groups?
Yes. Yes. Because like I said earlier, we are people of emotions and feelings. Me, for the friends that I have that know me, I'm not big on shopping, but I'm big on going to the mall. I'll go to the mall just to walk around, just to air my mind out, or to get some food. People that know me know I like to eat food. So one time I was having trouble with writing a code, and I really needed some help. And I did not want to be in the house, and I could not do it on my own. So I said, you know what? Let me call this guy that's in my class who's a super genius. And we met up at the mall. And we're in the middle of the mall, laptops out, writing a code. And people are just looking like, man, what are these African-American guys doing in here with these laptops out with all of these these numbers and these letters just everywhere? What's going on here? And for me, that was a great experience. I'm glad that kind of clicked in my mind to do that, because I love being in the mall. So I didn't feel like I missed out on anything. And I think when you're younger, you don't want to really indulge a lot in school because you feel like I'm missing out.
Right, on something I should be a part of.
So it's like, all right, I like going to the mall on the weekend and walking around. Okay, well, I'm in the mall. I'm just writing a code.
I'm just writing a code. We have a call. We have a caller on the line. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from, please? You're live.
Hi, my name is Jay. I'm calling from Hampton.
Okay, what is your question or comment, please?
Well, my comment is some kind of wisdom, I guess, that I've learned. I'm a Spartan alum, class of 2010.
Whoa,
yeah.
Behold, the green and gold.
Yes.
What I would like to say is, college is a time to explore yourself and find yourself, and also to learn how to find balance from, like, your work life, your family life, and your play life. I always, would strive to tell young people to, as y'all said earlier, prioritize on what matters the most, and always just try to keep, make some time for yourself, because when you get into your profession, you're going to need to remember, reflect on certain things and remember to take time for yourself, because it is overwhelming out here, no matter what your profession is. So I always say that. And then regarding, finding ways to study, one of the ways that I found that was effective for me is I like to make my own, tests and quizzes and things. I set myself. I'm a teacher, so it kind of makes sense now. I didn't know that then. I was just doing it okay. And then, as a teacher, I try to keep that in mind when I'm teaching my students. Everybody learns in different ways, like Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. So, like you said, you're an auditory learner. There are some subjects I only could, pick up auditorily, and then there's some that I can learn with, visual and putting hands-on kinesthetic. But, I would always say make sure you prioritize and make sure you find a way that works for you.
Absolutely. That makes so much sense. And I love that you say take some time for yourself. Jay, thank you so much for calling.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. Now, Ms. Crawley, when she said taking time for yourself and exploring, college is a time of exploring and finding out who you are. That's the critical piece there.
Absolutely. First, taking care of yourself is so important because if you don't, you can't do the work. So self-care is so important, whether it's going to the gym or meditating or your spiritual life. You want to know what works for you. Like, what's that go-to when you're feeling overwhelmed? Going to the salon or, getting a massage. Those are great self-care because it helps you to reset. And when you're able to reset, you're able to go ahead and go focus on something, that next step. It's not so overwhelming. And so I think that's great. And then prioritizing is so important because when it boils down to it, even once we graduate and we're out in life, you have to prioritize what's important today. And what's important today may not be the same thing that's important tomorrow. So having that flexibility when it comes to the work.
Right. How do you readjust, Scandalous? How do you get your focus back?
Food.
Food and comfort.
Comfort.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that comfort.
There we go. You'll find me in the bookstore getting some chips or cookies or something like, oh, I remember how to do it now, because I feel better. Because we're people of feelings, emotions. You have to we have to understand it. I think when you're your early 20s, you don't really understand how important that is. That feelings are important,
right?
And you have to learn how to control your feelings. Because if you don't know how to control them, forget it. I'm just not going to do the assignment. I'm just not going to go to class.
Right.
You have to learn how to channel that energy somewhere else. Okay, do you like to lift weights? Will that help alleviate some stress? Do you need to talk to somebody? Or do you need some cookies or something to make yourself feel better? I don't know. Anything other than the negative. Staying out really late, partying, getting involved with, drugs or drinking, something that you should definitely not do, whether you're in school or not. You have to find your happy place.
You have to find your happy place. And that's when, again, I was reading, it was saying about, in terms of staying organized and controlling those impulses. Because we younger people people in general, but younger people especially need to know how to do that. And so that part is important. The self-monitor, self-care, self-love, and the planning. And all of those are critical pieces if we're going to be successful in school. So I like that you say that exactly. And I know you had mentioned in the counseling center, you mentioned meditation.
Yes, we do meditation. We also have a massage chair at the counseling center. It's important to feel your feelings. Right. It's okay. Most of the time people hate to feel their feelings and they just kind of like to push them in a little box. But guess what? That box keeps creeping back out and it keeps creeping back out. So it's okay to say, you know what, I'm feeling really bad because of I don't understand this class or that I failed this test. It doesn't mean that you're less of a person. You just need some help. And that's okay.
That's right.
Yeah, not judging yourself.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I love what you're saying, going into a place that you don't feel like the mall for you and not feeling like you're missing anything.
Yes.
I can't have this work-life school balance.
Yes.
That's so important. All right. Now, as a non-traditional student, we're getting down to the end here, but as a non-traditional student, give that person who's listening now some words of encouragement. Give them something that maybe we haven't talked about. Tell them something that they need to hear today.
Some words of encouragement. I would say that I remember, I think it was, I was about 17 because my birthday's in August. So I turned 18 right after I graduated. And I remember getting close to graduation, and my mother's a counselor, and, she's been in school since for like 30 years or so. So she's huge on education. Some of the guys I grew up with did not finish high school. So, that kind of scared her with me. So I said, all right, Mom, I'm going to graduate. I said, but I ain't going to college. So I ain't doing it. School ain't for me. I'm a rapper and da-da-da-da-da, So my words of encouragement to fast forward from the 18-year-old to pretty much the 30-year-old, or anybody, I'll say 23, 24, and still like, I'm not young. I'm definitely not old either. I hear a lot of people say, well, school isn't for me. College isn't for me. But something that my father taught me, he said, well, you're in school everywhere you go. Norfolk State University, the world is a universe. That's why this is called a university. You learn everywhere you go. Learning is universal.
Yeah.
The only difference is you're what they would call you're in a controlled setting, kind of. But even in college, you're really not, because you can, it's not smart, but you can get up and leave. If you choose to. You can in high school, but it's going to be some consequences,
right? Because
you're not an adult. But the words of encouragement would be, school is not bad, and you can never have enough knowledge. And a lot of people say, well, knowledge is power, this and that, but school would teach you how to apply the knowledge, because you can know anything in the world, but if you don't know how to apply it, then your knowledge means nothing. And that's what the professors, especially here at Norfolk State, would teach you, that, okay, this test is going to test you on what do you know. Now here's your chance to apply what you know. Let's see how much you know.
And how you can use it in the real world.
Yes.
And I think that part is so critical, because it's not, when am I ever going to use this
Right,
stuff?
right.
Why are they making me take these classes? Because somewhere down the line, perhaps in your career, in your personal life, or something, in your relationships, you're going to need this.
Yeah.
Arkita, give us some words of encouragement. Tell us.
Well, I'll also say do internships. Get an internship, because that's how you're going to apply the education that you're learning. And you can also find out if this is really what you want to do.
Right.
Because sometimes you do an internship and you're like, maybe not. But I will say, always think about, when it comes to school, whether you're here for 4 years or 9 years, your degree doesn't have a date on it. It doesn't say how long it took you to finish it. As well as when it comes to your education, that time is still going to pass regardless.
Right.
You can either let it pass and you have a degree, or you can just let it pass. So it's also just so important to just keep moving forward in your life and in your goals. And I always tell people, be good to yourself, be good to others, and be a blessing.
That's right.
That's right.
So, yeah.
That's right. And how did your internship, you started as an intern here at the radio station, or it was a credit from a class, or?
Well, as far as how did I use it, as far as the technology internship?
Right. No, how did you end up here?
How did I end up here?
Yes, at the radio station doing what you do.
Well, I ended up here at the radio station previously from being on air some years back.
Oh, okay.
And once I graduated from TCC and then transferred to Norfolk State, I was here for a year, and just walking by, saying, let me say hey to Doug. What's up, Doug? Hey, what's up? Then after I just kept seeing me. Say, hey, you itching
our
to
program
get,
director.
Yeah, our program director. You're itching to get back on air. And I was like, I guess. And then, it turned out it helped discipline me some more, because I said, dang, once I went full time, they hired me full time for the summer. I said, man, I got to be at Norfolk State the whole summer, and I'm supposed to be on break. But I'm already prepared to start school already,
right,
because I'm in the element.
You're in the element. It's not like you've been away. So I wanted you to add that piece to that, because, again, being involved, being connected, no matter what school you go to,
yes,
that will help you. Now, Scandalous, someone says, I want to reach out to you and find out more about your story. How do they find you?
You can hit me up on my Instagram or Facebook, Scandalous. Just type in Scandalous. Like the show, I'm not going to plug anybody. Like Scandal, and just add an E and a Z. Scandal as E-Z is just how you spell it. I'll come up somewhere.
Absolutely. Ms. Crawley.
Yeah, so I can be reached at Facebook or Instagram at Moving Forward Moments. I do a blog just about every day about how you can move forward in the different transitions of your life, how you can help yourself, help others, help your kids.
It's been such a pleasure to have our guests today. We were talking about College Prep 101. We had earlier Janae Williams, who's also with West Coast Connect and a student here at NSU. Marvin Folks, NSU student, also known as Scandalous. Scandalous, thank you so much for being here today.
No, thank you.
And for a staff counselor from the NSU Counseling Center, Arkita Crawley. Ms. Crawley, thank you again.
My pleasure.
Don't forget, this program is rebroadcast every Sunday from noon to 2. And also you can find us on YouTube for all of the broadcasts. And if you want to make some comments about what you'd like for us to talk about, don't forget to email me at bkadams@nsu.edu. This is Hampton Roads Voices. We appreciate you being here. We'll see you next time.
Is Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not those of Norfolk State University or WNSB FM. Thank you for listening.